Welcome back, everybody, for more Factorio. This is episode number 8 of Recursion. The base is operational. It's stable. Our nuclear setup is working flawlessly. Hasn't crashed once. Seems to be working great. We are doing science again. We're researching worker robot speed 12 to get a little bit of boost to our worker robot speed. Our system here is basically keeping up with demand. The only issue that might be a hiccup the next time we recursion power to go from a 4 gigawatt limit to an 8 gigawatt limit is that this active provider chest is having trouble getting emptied fast enough. I hope the worker robot speed will help with that to reduce the travel time for the robots to get here to take things out. But I think the major issue is that they're storing all of the barrels way up here and not down here. So in the future, we might just need to reconfigure the location of our barrel storage. When we finally put this inside the base itself, I guess barrel storage would have to be here, because all of the barrels are going to be going in from this top area. But for the moment, it's fine, so I don't have to worry about that right now. We'll figure out a solution to that later. Off camera, I reconfigured some things. Some people were mentioning that there were some throughput issues that might come up if you put too many tanks next to each other, because they will share. You can see right here, actually, case in point. If tanks next to each other, any kind of pipe next to each other will share inventories, and that will slow down throughput. You can see that this one is empty and this one has inventory, because this one's inventory is getting immediately removed, and this one is not, because it just keeps trying to share it with that. So I redesigned the entire thing to limit the amount of tanks next to each other. Mostly it's tank, pump, with some pump action over here. But I just because of the weird configuration I had to work with here, there are some places where we've got 2 tanks next to each other, but there are no places where we've got 3 tanks next to each other. And that's as good as I could manage to design it in the space we had. I think that's probably going to be fine, the amount of throughput we need for this individual building. And somebody else mentioned we might one day need some pumps here to optimize our throughput of steam. We haven't quite got up to that 4 gigawatt limit yet, so it's hard to say if that's going to be an issue. If we get up to 4 gigawatts reliably without issue, then I would say we don't need to. But right now we're hovering around 2.8, somewhere around a little bit below 3. So we don't need to worry about that right now. What we do get to do now is we get to have a little fun, and we get to blow off some steam with our shiny new Power Armor Mk3 and something like 151 nuclear missiles and some other stuff, some other funsies. We're going to go blow up some aliens to get access to new areas of the world that we didn't have before. It would also help to spread our borders around a bit to so the aliens stop attacking, just because it's a little bit of a hassle when they keep attacking the walls. So you can see the pollution border goes well beyond our walls there. The thing we want in particular is this uranium ore patch over here. Okay, now that we're out of the congestion area, let's get rid of these guys. I think the mobility is probably the most important thing at this point. Yes, okay, that's pretty speedy. Well, so I probably spent way more time killing aliens than I should have. I wasn't exactly keeping count, but probably something like 600 or more nuclear missiles. This is the old amount of territory we had, this amount right here. And I probably doubled that with my latest nuclear rampage. And I also cleared out this area to the left. We have a nice little wall of water here on the left where the 0.15 terrain meets the 0.16 terrain mismatch. We have a bottleneck there we can use, and to the north I will clear out more, so not sure where the bottleneck will be there. Have 33 million iron, 48 million iron, etc. Over here to the right, we have kind of like a lunar landscape, except with liquid water. A lot of craters here. Can't see the details because there's no radar here. I'll have to come back through and make sure all these little the runners are killed, but there's no bases except when we get way out over to here. So I'll probably put a bottleneck, the wall of turrets, probably put it here, something like that. Because there's not gonna, we're not gonna use this iron. So I don't care about that. And it's not a huge amount anyway. So we'll just put a wall here for the sort of northeastern part of this section. Over here to the east, I did not find a good bottleneck. I guess we'll put a wall here, which is still a pretty good distance from these guys. It'll be a little bit wider than this one. Okay, and then to the south, I did find a really nice peninsula. All this stuff winds around. This is a peninsula, this is a peninsula. And then our bottleneck here is what I was looking for. It's tiny. Oh my gosh, that is going to be our smallest. This was currently our smallest wall segment over here. It's going to be like half that. Going to be like this much. So that's pretty good. And I got access to a lot of resources. We have over here, I had seen previously this 38,000 ore well field thing. That's really good, but there is just a silly amount of oil in this area. This might just last us for the entire playthrough. Maybe not. It's hard to really say until we get going. We can put many outposts here for oil. And then up here, we've got the uranium promised land, basically. 8 million, 8 million, a million, 5 million. And then up here, the double plus good promised land, 12 million. That's an extra 500,000, almost a million. And then up here, boom, 17 million. That's a lot of millions. And then we've got various other stuff like 90 million copper, 58 million copper, etc., etc. The further away you get from your spawn point, the bigger the ore patches get. So we can do all that. So that is, that's jolly well done. And it's fun to do, but then it kind of gets tedious at the same time. So I'm glad I won't have to do it for a little while. So the next thing to set up, we need to start working on the next layer so we can replace this with more upgraded stuff. We're currently kind of like basically going at capacity of our old base's speed, but we need to speed up even more. We need to rebuild all this stuff. Next thing to do would be to do this layer. We want to do all the oil stuff and the 2 circuits, and as well as that, the speed module 1, which we're going to do for... before we start working on science, we're going to do that all together. What we've done so far, we've got the oil stuff, the basic refinery stuff. That's been taken care of. We've got to do the lubricant, and then the cracking of the heavy, and then we need to make the rocket fuel out of the solid fuel from the light oil. Then we need to crack the remaining light oil into petroleum gas, and then turn that into sulfuric acid and plastic, and then turn those guys into the different, the 2 different circuits up there, and the blue, or speed module 1. So, that's going to be a lot of work before we can replace that, and I've started laying out, I'm trying to basically visualize what we're going to be doing, and I had the idea, well, why don't I just make kind of like a checklist? I'm going to lay out not just all the different types of things, which we have up here in our flowchart. This is the stage of the flowchart we're at. We're kind of like into this part and this part, and yeah. So that seems good, and I decided, well, I need to visualize what I need to do. So why don't I lay out like all the different machines I need. So this is really all the lubricant machines we're going to need, not very many. And then to crack the light, or the heavy into light, that's not so bad. And then I got to the next step. Ooh, deli. Yeah, that's a lot of solid fuel. And then the rocket fuel is just as silly. Actually, it's more silly because we need more. I ran out of room. Here's the rest. And then the cracking into petroleum, and then the plastic, and then the this and that and the other. It's a lot of stuff, so I decided, okay, let's work on some layouts. So I had this idea. We've got all these things flying around. We've got the green circuits coming in. We're making the plastic. This thing takes green circuits. This thing takes green circuits and red circuits, and then the speed module 1s, they take green circuits and red circuits. So can we combine all that to try to go more machine to machine? Can I come up with a layout to create a little bit more efficiency so that we don't have as many items flying around? I came up with this. So here is a little module which will take care of at least a decent amount of the production of blue circuits and green circuits. We're going to directly insert, go machine to machine from red circuits to blue, I keep calling them blue because they're blue, speed module 1s. So we need a little bit less than 2 to 1, so we'll end up with a few more machines. than we optimally need. But going machine to machine will really help with lag. And then with these guys, we need a little bit more than 1-to-1. So again, not exactly perfect for the machine count, but the fact that we're going machine to machine will be pretty good. And the fact that these guys are pretty slow. This guy's speed of 10 divided by 5.5, a little bit less than 1, or almost more than 1 every 2 seconds. So a long-handed inserter, which almost never gets used in Factorio in the end game, it will do just fine here to compress these guys so we can fit more rows. And then same thing with this guy. We only need 2 or 5 advanced circuits every couple seconds, or whatever it ends up being. I calculated it. I've got the math done, so that's the important part. Then we'll need the unbarreling for, I forgot this. Boop! We will need the unbarreling for the sulfuric acid, and this guy unbarrels a lot. He's going to unbarrel 50 every 0.2 divided by 6.25. It's going to be a lot of sulfuric acid. This guy only needs 5, so we could probably get away with 1 or 2 of these things for the entire floor, just to limit pipe distance. So we got 3 of these guys per row. We've got 3 speed module 1s per row, and then 1 of these guys. Normally, with a typical beacon layout of 8 beacons, would give this guy the same speed of 5.5. You would need 1 of these per 8 of these red ones. You can see we've got 9, but I managed to fit in 1 extra beacon, which allows us to service 9 of them. We have 9. Oh yes, fantastic. It's gonna work, I think. Okay, so let's work on it. Let's see how many we can put on 1 layer. Probably we'll go with 3 rows of beacons. Let's run in here, and let's lay out a row of roboports. And then a few rows of the other things. What did I do for that green circuit layer? Yeah, I did like 3 and then 4. We won't be able to do that many. Maybe we can do 3 and 3. Okay, so we do 1, 2... 3, that takes us that far. Maybe we do 5 rows. We'll see. If we can do 5 rows, I'll put in an extra row of roboports. And I ran out of speed mod. That's fine. I just want to see how many rows we can fit. Okay, 2. I guess that's all right. All right, so we got 5 rows, ran out of speed modules. So if we've got 5 rows, 5 times 3 of these things, that's 15. We're still going to need a lot of these, but we will be going machine to machine. It's going to take a lot of stuff. We're still going to need a lot of factory floors, but at least we have reduced the amount of things flying around. Hello, autosave. All right, another little update on the base design. This is the work in progress for the current deepest level. We've got a lot of different ingredients now. It's a lot more complicated than when we just had the iron or the copper. In retrospect, that was fairly straightforward. We had the logic puzzles of trying to make the travel distances as short as possible. But now we've got all kinds of items in here, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to route them. So we've got the plates and the steel and the gear wheels coming in here, as well as the stone and the ore and some water barrels. So I think all of our science is going to eventually end up in here. And then we're going to have copper plates coming in through here, as well as green circuits. So I think the red and the blue circuits will get made in here. And then all of our ore refinery stuff is going to end up in here and then go up to there. And then all that stuff's going to end up in here. But we currently have this 4th guy here. We're going to have so many things flying around. I think we're going to need all the roboports we can. And I would really like to only have 3 of these bozos. This guy is designated for taking our heavy oil and turning it into lubricant, and then cracking the extra into light oil, which would then head into this building, I guess. And I think we could probably find a better spot for him. So let's pick this up. I made the layout for this, so we can actually go plop it down inside our actual base. There it is. This is our new lubricant and cracking heavy into light system. We fit everything into one of these floors, so that's rather nice. We've got our lubricant production over on the left, and then cracking heavy into light on the top and the bottom. So we've got 3 of these unbarrelers for heavy, and those go into a tank, into a pump, and get distributed. And then we've got 2 unbarrelers for water, which is needed for the cracking, not for the lubricant. And each of these guys goes into a tank and then gets outputted by a pump, and then goes, just to make the layout, travel times is nice as possible. And also, I tried to make it so that, and I succeeded, thank you, so that all of the unbarrelers and barrelers are connected up to beacons, so they are nice and speedy. So anyway, these guys go to 6 here and 4 here, and this unbarreler goes to 6 here and 4 there. And then I've got a few buffer chests here and there. There was one here, no. Here's some buffer chests for empty barrels, so we don't run out of empty barrels in this area, because we're going to be sucking them right out. All the excess needs to get taken out of here so things don't shut down. Anything unbarreling, as usual, gets sent to an active provider chest, so nothing backs up. And then you can see the red circuits. Now this is set up so that at peak, it will be able to handle all the heavy oil coming in, and it should naturally distribute things in a balanced fashion. But just because it's set up to handle things evenly, of course, it's not always going to, so I've set up a very simple circuit connection here. I've got a wire here reading the contents of this tank, so a lubricant tank, and it basically goes on these wires like I've done previously, very simple setup, to these pumps. And they're basically saying, if that tank over there doesn't have a certain amount of lubricant in it, then these pumps won't operate, and so the cracking will not happen. The cracking is a lot less important than the generation of the lubricant, because we've got a lot of sources for light oil besides this. So this is actually a small percentage of our total light oil, but it should even out as this fills up, and as our lubricant starts getting made, these tanks will, or the pumps will turn on, so we'll start getting light oil into these tanks, which will be sent to the barreler, which will be sent up here. So anyway, let's pick this guy up. Whoop. And let's go put him inside the actual base. We're going to put him in the... Oh, train. I haven't, by the way, I haven't populated these two different lanes on purpose so that I can walk through here without getting murdered until we actually really need that throughput when things start speeding up. Okay, so we're going to put it in here. Oh, if I can dodge the wall. We're going to put it in here. Maybe, I'm going to say, like, up here somewhere. And I can always move this. It's very easy to move. So let's just plop it down somewhere. Maybe, like, right here. And which one is probably... Yeah, it was that one. All right. So we're just going to... I'm just going to put it down here for now, and we'll kind of worry about it later. There. It has been plopped down. Did we have a... Okay, oh, that's only set to 100 megawatts, or 50 megawatts. I never bumped that up because we haven't started using this yet. So let me just bump that up to a gigawatt. I think this one already went up to 500 megawatts. It's fine. Okay, so this is going to output in the middles. We will have these guys, and then we'll need to request stuff. I'm just going to set that up later because we're not going to be using this for a little bit until the rest of all the other stuff is ready to go. And I'll make a little pathway to get there as well. There we go. Okay, check mark. One last thing to worry about. So anyway, I thought we would end the episode the same way we started it, by blowing up some aliens. I'm going to clear out some space here to the north. We consistently get attacked here way more often than anywhere else, so I thought we may as well push the critters back a bit. Let me switch to my nukes. Let me run up here. There's a fresh group of suicide squads right there. Okay, where'd you come from, though? I think you came from here. Oh, there's my active laser defense. Get wrecked, aliens. I should really be conserving my nuclear missiles, so this should only have used one for that. And then we should come back in with shotguns and let my lasers do the trick. And against the heavy armor guys, submachine gun with the uranium rounds. There's a nice big chunk of stone, 23 million. Yeah, little groups like this should not waste a nuke on. They're not too hard to take out, and all these like little guys running around, they can just go run into the walls or whatever. They can, for a little while, I'll let them have a... Oh, did I get them all? Yeah, I got them all. For a little while, they can live, I guess. Okay. See you later. Make sure to run out the blast. All right, that one's a decent size, and kaboom. Kaboom, you're dead. You're all dead. Well, except these guys aren't dead, but they're kind of dead. They just don't know it yet. All right, all finished up. Ran out of nukes once again. Cleared out a really big amount of space this episode. This is the new amount of space from the last section of nukes that I launched. Haven't really found anything resembling a bottleneck up here, the exact opposite. And worse, I have found very little in the way of iron ore pockets, which is the thing we need the most of, and I just don't see much. I see plenty of other stuff. 135 million stone, lots of copper up here, which is, it's just on the wrong side of the map. There's a little bit of copper or a bit of iron here and here, but it's just not very big amounts. I don't know if I'm getting unlucky or if it is the alien biomes mod. Maybe we just are in the wrong biome. I don't know if it's biome dependent. There's a few iron ore patches over in this section, but I'm really just not finding enough iron ore that we need. Maybe we just need to keep exploring further. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll continue next time with hooking up all the new stuff. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.